Hey guys, I'm Neil. Welcome to Pellets and Pits. Hey, today is all about how to clean the Lone Star pellet grill. Now, my method might be different, but I know one thing. It's super easy. If you guys want to see how we do it, here we go. To get started, I just got some hot water. No soap, no soap. Just some hot water. Oh, man. Then I got an extra bowl, okay? I have already emptied the ash clean out because I do that every single time. So it's not a big deal. Pull it out, I throw it over the yard. So my ash clean out's empty. We're just gonna put it back in. These little kind of like cotton gloves come with like a, what do you call it? A glove kit. I use those when I clean. Your hands get super dirty. Just protects your hands from like the actual metal. The one thing I say is the ash clean out on the bottom gets cleaned out regularly, almost like every cook. I don't think I've ever done it without not cleaning out before each cook. It's just so convenient. I mean, if I guess I just turned it on for 10 or 15 minutes, then I probably wouldn't, but it's just so easy to do. I just got in the habit. So this has had smoked prime rib. It has had whole smoked tenderloin. It has had some quite a bit of things on there. Just working from the top down, just cleaning off the grate. I don't pay a lot of attention to that because that always works itself in and out. So what you have now is basically probably one of the easiest setups I could ever imagine. When we're going through the phase of looking at pellet grills, maintenance and care was not necessarily on top of the list, more performance, durability. But as much as I've got the chance to use it, I'm just blown away how easy it is. I mean, it's super easy. So the idea is basically what I do. I just start from the top and work my way down. So whatever metal he uses, I'm sure it's steel, American made steel, scrapes off extremely easy. I've got a paint scraper. You can do this in the yard or whatever, but I'll show you at the end why it's so easy to do it like this.
Now, is this process the same for most pellet grills?
The process is similar, but each pellet grill that I've had reacts different. Like the Traeger, I was disappointed in the fact that the drip tray, with everything stuck to it. Whereas this, you can see everything comes off extremely easy. I'm sure it's because of what this is made of. The Pit Boss breaks down different, but I do use this same method in the Pit Boss and the Traeger. You just gotta be careful what you scrape when you use those two. It's the same idea.
When you seasoned this, did you use the same fat or the same oil as you did for the Traeger?
Yes, duck fat or avocado oil. Now I use both of them, so I don't know. I don't remember. I know for a fact I used duck fat in this one. I think my duck fat was broken for the Traeger, so I used avocado oil. But the result should have been similar, so I don't think that's the problem. See all this gunk? This is what you're trying to get up. And it comes off almost effortlessly. Try not to get in your pot. I do feel like, for the most part, and maybe I'm crazy, I think a lot of people that buy pellet grills are two versions. The person that wants to get into smoking but they don't have the time or the knowledge to get into stick burning, or the person that has a lot of knowledge and they buy a pellet grill but they're used to a certain situation. With stick burners, the maintenance is it's less than a pellet grill. So I think the idea, well, what I'm trying to say is a long story short, I think pellet grills get neglected. I think the maintenance on them, they just expect it to be able to turn on and off like an oven. But a little care and maintenance goes a long ways for the performance and the longevity. Can you shine a light in here? Can you see in there? Do we need to get something else?
No, I can see. You
oh,
see?
wow, it is bright. All right, so this is the cavity. Right here is the grease trap. It is dry. But I always like to scrape up just a little bit if I can. That's just extra. And then right here, scraping away from the burn pot.
So you don't want this gunk to fall in that pot.
Correct. Yeah, that's your fire pot. Now, how as much as you clean this out is completely dependent on how much you use it and what you're cooking and how long your smoker's on. If you're smoking butts all day long, like 3 or 4 times a week for catering events or jobs or something like that, obviously you clean it out more frequently. Just being on the back deck as little as we use it, there's no rhyme or reason that I've found yet. I just know that it needs to be cleaned. So if you can see here, the ash builds up and the grease build up. So I just work from the top, work my way down. This is always the cleaner spot. Set a trash bowl down. All that nasty grease. Now I just coat it with the pellet dust. It just helps it from smearing everywhere. And now you're just using your scraper to get all that residual stuff out. A lot of times you'll see people vacuum it out. I do think the vacuuming helps, but I've never needed it. Even on my Pit Boss, I don't vacuum anymore at all. In the burn pot itself, since the burn pot, you can't get to it from the bottom, you have to manually take out the ashes. I just take like a spoon it all out, and I mean it gets empty in a hurry. So
what if you had like one of those little mini brooms and mini dustpans? You know what I'm talking about?
I just think it would gunk up over time, right? Because the grease in there, you got to remember it's only like 27 degrees right now. So in the summer when it's hotter, these oils are gonna be a lot looser. And that's why I'm showing you with this dust. When you got those loose greases and fats in your smoker, just take this pellet burnt dust, this ash, and it can absorb a lot of that grease for you. And it just makes it cleaning a lot easier. Then just some paper towels, working on your ledges. And just getting some residual stuff up that didn't come up while you were doing it. Staying with your dirty cloth, just giving this a quick wipe after you scraped it. There's not enough in there to really worry about what goes back in. Same thing right here. This is where the underneath of the fire pot is. So we're just going to get some of that gunk off that we missed. Get those ashes out of there with our dirty towels. And this is what I do every single time I deep clean. I do this on all my pellet grills. Little avocado oil underneath, or duck fat, or a high heat oil. If it's in the summertime and you can use the tallow left over of what you cooked with, you can do that as well. But every single time, I just add this layer of oil. And I know what you're thinking, it's underneath, it shouldn't matter, but you know, I'm here to protect the metal for a long term. So I think it's worth it. Flip it over, repeat the process. I think the way you clean your smoker too will probably depend on what you're putting in it. We don't do tons of fatty foods all the time. A lot of times we like to use a smoker as an oven with flavor, right? So if you're using fatty foods a lot, maybe this step right here is not necessary. But this is just more kind of like a universal style approach. You really have to look at what you're putting in there. Don't forget that you got a little female end right here, little notch. and it slides right there in that notch. Okay, so now that's oiled and ready to go. Same thing with the baffle plate. Oil it up. This is what catches all the heat. So you definitely want to keep this oiled, because every single time the heat hits it, it starts the seasoning process, keeps it protected. And since the underneath of your pellet smoker or your components don't have any oils on them, it's good to add them. There's your baffle plate, your cooking grate. Like I said, I'm never worried about this section right here. This always comes and goes, so I'm not worried about it at all. And then from there, I just like to take some hot water. Remember, there's no soap in it. And just get around the edges. Just go and clean this off. You can see there's a little residual oil. It just protects your gasket seals, and it helps prevent the crud from building up. Although we don't cook a lot of fatty foods consistently, the last 3 or 4 cooks have been extremely fatty, so just trying to protect it like anything else. And then for some of you out there, once it's dried, you need to hit it with a certain oil. It seems like some people have a controversy of what oil to add, so I'm not going to get into that. You guys need to do your own research, but the oil just creates a protective layer for your paint and for everything not to stick. I do mine as well, but it needs to dry. And there you go. That's how you clean the Lone Star Pellet Grill. It's probably one of the easiest grills, even as big as it is, to clean. Super efficient. Use that metal scraper. The stuff comes off almost effortlessly. Scoop it all up. Get that pellet powder, especially when it's warmer climate. It's super cold now, but that warmer climate, you have like a lot of loose fat, and that pellet debris, the ash, will actually just collect all in there, and then it comes up really easy. Take a paper towel, wipe it out, and you should be good to go. There you go. Pellet cleaning 101, and that should be true to all your pellet smokers. Just get all the gunk out of there.